following is a Cuny TV special presentation.
I am truly delighted to welcome you to the 8th annual Peter Jennings Laurel Award Scholarship Ceremony. The Cuny Adult Literacy GED program has been in operation on 14 campuses of Cuny for more than 30 years. It is funded by the New York State Education Department and the Mayor's Office of the City of New York. Today, through the generous funding of the Peter Jennings Foundation and Assurant Incorporated, a new funder we welcome to our GED family this year, we hold this presentation of scholarships named in honor of the late Peter Jennings, the news anchor for ABC TV's World News Tonight. We are especially grateful to Peter's wife, Casey Freed Jennings, for continuing Peter's legacy by her habitual presence and participation at these ceremonies over the years, and for her generous contribution through the Peter Jennings Foundation in support of the Scholarship Fund. Casey had a family emergency and is unable to be here. She sent me a little note that she asked me to read. She said, "As you know, this is truly one of the best days of my life, as it was Peter's, and I hate so much to miss it. Please pass on my apologies to all and my congratulations."
I'm here on behalf of the Central Office of the City University of New York to congratulate all of you. We are very proud of your accomplishments. We are very proud of all that you've done, facing all the obstacles that Leslie described, and still prevailing over them. We're also extremely proud of our own CUNY colleagues who helped make it happen for you. We're also proud of our accomplishments with the City of New York and all the city has done to make adult literacy programs work. I'd like to say as a sociologist that seeing you here reminds me of a famous article in sociology written by someone named Ralph Turner. He's a well-known sociologist, president of the American Sociological Association. He wrote an article which became very famous in sociology. And in that article, he compared the English and American educational systems of the time. He said in the English one, they did allow some kids from the working class to rise up, but only when they chose them very early in life and brought them into elite institutions. They had a famous exam called the 11 plus. If you didn't pass that exam, you could not go on to academic education in England. And this meant that they had an elite which was very much shaped from early in children's lives. In America, he said, it was different. In America, if students didn't do well or didn't have opportunity at one level, they could come and re-enter the system at another level. There are many access points to education. There is the GED, there are community colleges, and he said in America, the door is never closed. The door is never closed, and when I see you here today, I see the great value of keeping that door open.
What I've learned from my daughter, and I know many of you have figured this out, those of you who are getting the scholarship today, is there's no such thing as defeat. There's steps on the road to accomplishment. And everybody's path to that accomplishment is going to look different. There are no lost causes in this life. There are only causes yet to be won. We have learned from all of you and the GED award winners who came before you, something very, very important for adult education in New York City. And that's to see the students, see the learners in a different light than we have historically. And so what people here at CUNY are doing and what the alumni who you met earlier are playing a leading role in is helping everybody to understand that students are partners, full partners, leading partners, majority partners in their own education. And the role of the educators is to provide the resources, to provide the coaching, to provide some of the guidance, and to do so in a spirit of partnership. And we look at students no longer as people who come to our classrooms who need to learn things from us, but we look at students as full community members, as leaders, as people who have made a decision that will have great benefit in the lives of other people. And we look at you as partners in the education process, partners who will benefit from what we can bring to the table, and we will benefit from what you can bring to the table. And the communities, your families, your friends, people out across the city will benefit from your work.
It's really a thrill for me to be here this morning because the GED program is really close to my heart. This is an area where I started my work in higher education. The people who are responsible for the GED are people whom I've worked with who've become lifelong friends over 25 years. Richard Cook, who passed away not too long ago, and Rhonda Barnett, who you see on the stage today, who began the scholarship program for the GED Awards, first awarded those scholarships when I ran the program. So if I seem a bit nostalgic, I am. And don't believe the phrase for a minute that you can't go home again, because being here today is like coming home, and it really feels good. But today is not about me, it's about you and a program that was put together so that you could have a chance, maybe a second or third chance to get the education you deserve and that you're going to need to ensure your future success. The Cuny GED program has been here for thousands of individuals like yourselves who wanted to make their lives different. The faculty and staff who work in this program are among the best teachers in this city, and they work in this program because they believe in the power of education, and they believe in the power of each and every one of you to achieve. Just like your teachers, each and every one of you have been focused on getting your GED, and each of you, I know, paid a price to reach your goal, a price that was shared by people who've helped you along the way, your family, children, teachers, co-workers, sometimes just your good friends. It's not easy to come back to school. It's not easy, but the price is worth paying because education is a gift. It's a gift, however, that you have to give yourself. Nobody else can give it to you, but it's a gift that nobody can take from you. No matter where you go, no matter what you do throughout your life, education will never leave you. Be proud of yourself today for taking the first step and for finishing, for achieving a goal that you set for yourself. All too often, we're quick to criticize ourselves for what we do wrong. Wow, I didn't get that right. I messed up that test. It's easy for us to find fault with ourselves, but how often do you pat yourself on the back? How often do you say, hey, that was pretty good? I was pretty smart. I knew that answer. So feel good about what you've accomplished. Luxuriate in it. It's your day. But this shouldn't be your last step. Education can open doors for you that you can never imagine. And I'm not talking about money doors, though education certainly helps there. Education enriches our lives and takes you to worlds of imagination, creativity, and thought that last for a lifetime. Usually in a speech such as this, the speaker ends by giving you an example, an icon of someone that might inspire you to take the next step. Certainly, Peter Jennings, after whom these awards are named, could serve in that role for you and for us all. However, for this morning, I would suggest something different. That you look to your left and to your right, to your own classmates, to find those stories of courage, commitment, achievement, compassion, and determination, which will inspire you to take the next step. Did you know that there are those among you who have experienced the ravages of war, yet came to this country optimistic and determined that they could succeed? I didn't know that, you may say. How did they do it? We may well never know what's inside of each human being that separates those who give up from those who make it. But if there is a lesson for us all, what I urge you to take from the triumphs of all of your classmates, it is for each of you to find within yourself that power, that courage, that passion that's going to propel you to set the next goal for yourself. As you look around you this morning, remember always that the great achievements in life are not always the work of extraordinary people. Rather, they are the result of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Courage doesn't always roar. Often, it's that voice inside us that says, I'll try again tomorrow. As CUNY GED graduates, I know all of you have the courage to do extraordinary things. Thank you.
Now we are at the delightful part of the ceremony where we get to call each one of you as award winners up to receive your scholarship award, and for me to have the pleasure of reading a little bit about your lives to our audience so that they can get to know you. Bully Kamara grew up in Gambia, West Africa, and immigrated to the United States with the clear intention of getting his GED and going to college. This is something that no one in his family had done. A serious student on an educational journey, his teacher wrote. He began in a pre-GED class and worked his way up, impressing those around him with his strong work ethic. There were days when I was exhausted after being all day at work in the meat shop where I work, Bully said. Nevertheless, I kept my goals in focus and persevered. When he received his GED diploma, he immediately applied to Bronx Community College, where he has completed his first semester as a business major, earning all A's in all but one of his courses. Congratulations to you. Brandon Carrington grew up in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. As a teenager, Brandon dropped out of school after losing his father, his only parent, from an early age. He held a number of low-wage jobs before finding work as a dispatcher for a town car company. Dispatching for some major law firms gave Brandon a glimpse into a different lifestyle and a career path. He began to dream of becoming a lawyer. As a GED student, Brandon was exemplary. He had excellent skills, a sharp mind, and an ability to make friends and work effortlessly with others. It was clear that Brandon would do well until he learned the devastating news that he had a brain tumor. Throughout his ordeal, Brandon remained positive, preparing for the GED while undergoing radiation treatments. He beat the cancer and he passed the GED. Paulette Jules grew up in Trinidad. When she decided to get her GED after many years away from school, she didn't know she could manage her time and learn to multitask. Living in a busy household full of relatives, it wasn't easy to find a quiet place to study. A passionate gardener, Paulette began to think of a way to combine her hobby with a vocation that would be both rewarding to her and useful and inspiring to others. I wish to become a landscaper, she wrote in her application essay, working with trees and rocks and water to design outdoor spaces that will be attractive and functional. Since earning her GED, Paulette has worked as an intern and a math tutor in the GED office at Medgar Evers College, where she plans to study horticulture science. Lynn Lee was born in Vietnam during the war. In 1978, Lynn escaped from Vietnam on a boat with 300 other refugees and lived for a time in the Philippines. It wasn't until 2005 that Lynn could return to school. She enrolled in an English class at LaGuardia Community College's Adult Learning Center. Although Lynn struggled, of course, with writing in English, she found ways to overcome the obstacle. Eager to show the depth of her insights and knowledge of the world, Lynn found it difficult to put her ideas in a nutshell. I learned not to spend so much time finding profound thoughts for my essay, she reflected. Instead, I used simple examples from daily life around me. In my home country, Lynn said, if you don't finish school by 18, you're out. Grateful for a second chance, Lynn is pursuing her associate's degree at LaGuardia Community College and plans to become a nutritional expert, combining traditional dietary principles with modern approaches. Congratulations. Rosa Reyes was born in California and grew up going back and forth between California and Mexico. Her formal education ended after the 9th grade. No one in Rosa's family had a high school diploma, and when Rosa was able to land a cashier position, she thought it was like heaven compared to the backbreaking work her mother had done for lower wages. Back in school, Rosa struggled, especially with the math and the writing, but she passed the GED test on her second try. That's it, she thought, I'm done. But another world opened up when she discovered Lehman's college transition program. There, in her own words, she learned things I never thought of learning, like geometry and how to analyze literature. Rosa wrote pages and pages about the short stories she read in the course and accepted her teacher's suggestions with grace and an undiminished sense of herself. Now, in her first semester at Ostos Community College, Rosa is pursuing a career in dental hygiene. Blas Salgado got a rocky start at Brooklyn College's adult literacy program. He had dropped out of school at the beginning of 9th grade, and as he put it, drowned my adolescent years away in bad company. His teacher wrote that he struggled with attendance and with work requirements, and after bouts of lateness and absence and problems that he was having, Blas began to think hard about his future. And he called the program, he asked for a second chance. And Blas will never forget the day his teacher called and said, "Okay, you can come back. No fooling around, you can come back." He passed the GED with a score of, you ready for this, 3,240. And President Peruggi, are you ready for this? Enrolled at Kingsborough Community College, where he developed strategies to help him find the time and the space that he needed to study. If he hadn't turned his life around, he said, I'd be on the street right now, maybe. Peter Jennings reported stories that inspired and captured the American spirit. He would want my story to be heard. Magali Torres came to the United States from Nicaragua and was still learning English when she enrolled in a GED class at BMCC's Borough of Manhattan Community College's Adult Learning Center. Magali was driven not only to improve her own life, but to make the global community a better place. To attain her GED, Magali would have to overcome a great deal. She had 2 young daughters to care for, a serious vision problem that made it difficult for her to read. Correcting the problem would require a risky operation and a few months away from school. While she recuperated, she maintained contact, though, with her teacher and studied on her own. She returned to class even more motivated to succeed. After passing the GED, Magali became a volunteer at the Adult Learning Center, tutoring and talking to prospective students. Now that I have the opportunity to live and study in the U.S., I would like to contribute by making a positive change, not only in my home country, but in different parts of the world where poverty and suffering persist. Now a student at BMCC, Magali plans to earn a degree in International Relations and Development Assistance. Congratulations to you. Imara Wahid was born in Pakistan. She came to the Lehman College Adult Learning Center at age 17. Impressed by her strong skills, her teacher also noticed Imara's ability to listen carefully as others spoke. She was able to make thematic connections among topics that helped other people to understand. Writing is one of her talents, and she created stunning stories with descriptive language. As the oldest child with 3 younger brothers to look after, Imara was accustomed to helping others. She often finished her assignments early and used her free time to tutor classmates who were struggling with writing or with math. After getting her GED, Imara attended the college transition program at Lehman College, where she became aware of the higher expectations of college professors and realized that to succeed in college, she would need to better balance her family responsibilities with academic work. As Imara put it, essays now had to be 5 pages instead of 5 paragraphs. In math, there were letters called variables that you have to figure out. Now a liberal arts major at Bronx Community College, Imara plans to become an elementary school teacher so that, in her own words, she can help children start climbing their own personal mountain. Charnette Walker Matthews was born and raised in Jamaica. When she enrolled in a GED class at York College's Adult Learning Center, she worried that she would have trouble adjusting to the American system and keeping up with her younger classmates, especially when it came to math. I started classes with an open yet fearful mind, Charnette recalls. I learned that in working out a problem, it's not always about the answer, but about how you arrive at a particular answer. A principle that applies to our lives even after classes, says Charnette. As a bond developed among the study group members, she realized that it was through this trust that we faced our fears together as a group, and we went into the exam knowing that our best would be good enough. And indeed, after passing the GED, Charnette signed up for Cuny campus tours and took advantage of college transition workshops. She was accepted to Ostos Community College, where she plans to prepare for a career as a dental hygienist. And she has a few words for you.
Let me begin by saying how happy I am to be a recipient of this prestigious Peter Jennings Laurel Award Scholarship. Along with my fellow awardees, I am very grateful to be part of this awesome circle of students who not only passed the GED, but who also have received this award, and we all will be going on to college. New York, we are here, and we will make a difference. I can assure you that you will be very, very proud of us. I speak on behalf of my fellow awardees when I say this scholarship will go a very long way in helping us in achieve all our dreams we've had for so long. Getting the GED is not easy. Do you know that it's a tough exam? For many of us, passing the math test meant tutoring and a lot of extra help. We learned from our teachers in the GED program to see our journey further in our education as a series of challenges we would learn how to face, because deep inside of us, we had inner strength and the desire to overcome them. We all thank our teachers. I thank mine at York. I have learned very much from you, not just academics, but life lessons, lessons I will always hold on to. We thank the members of our personal system. In my case, it is my husband and my close friend who studied with me on the telephone, on the bus, anywhere we could fit in a little study time, we did it. We thank Cuny, the Peter Jennings Award and Assurance, which made it possible for us to receive this scholarship. Finally, I wish to thank my teacher, my friend, my mentor. If you would all put your hands, Mr. Lawrence, please, sir. This is for us, sir. This is for us, and for those of us who were not here today, we all did a lot of hard work. We all overcame our challenges, and we will be doing it, and those after us will be doing it too. Thanks to Cuny. Thank you all.
Kenny Fisher Mack, who was born in the Bronx and grew up in Hell's Kitchen, describes his background as superhood. You said that. A class clown in grade school, Kenny recalls his teacher saying to his mother, "Kenny's brilliant," when he applies himself. But by 9th grade, Kenny had lost interest in school and applying himself instead to what he calls the beautiful sport of skateboarding. During his years away from school, Kenny never lost interest in learning. "I worked very hard and surrounded myself with smart people," he wrote. When his wife decided to pursue her MFA in painting, Kenny decided to get serious about getting educated. In a GED class at LaGuardia's Adult Learning Center, where he realized that after getting his GED, there would be next steps, such as the College Transition Initiative. Kenny passed all 3 CUNY placement tests, and now, as a spokesperson for the College Transition Initiative and a LaGuardia student majoring in business administration, Kenny's been thinking of creative ways to make sales managers more responsive. This is a gap that needs to be bridged, Kenny says, and I believe I'm the architect and the engineer who will get it done.
First, I would like to thank everybody for coming out to this very special celebration, a celebration of drive and determination. On behalf of the winners of the Peter Jennings Laurel Award, we would like to thank the Peter Jennings Foundation and the Assurance Company for their generous support. We take great pride in receiving this award, honoring a great man. I'm happy to say I received my GED from LaGuardia Community College and now pursuing my associate's degree in business administration. Sounds simple, right? During that time, I should have been in school. I worked, skateboarded, and tried many different GED prep sites. Stories like mine are not uncommon. The other recipients of today's award are part of that story. What makes our story different is this: we came to LaGuardia and other CUNY programs and received the proper learning experience and continue to do so. It's a tremendous advantage to get help in a college environment with all its resources of a modern institution and its intellectual energy. But most of all, we want to acknowledge the teachers in these programs. I want to thank Karen. Sorry. I'll get through this. I want to thank Karen for making me feel like the only person in a class of about 25. I was in Karen's class where I read Siddhartha. I loved it. It was the first real book I've ever read. From that point on, my life had changed. I'm thankful for all the teachers in the College Transition Initiative for preparing me to retake entry exams and gave me the tools to be a successful college student. Whoa, getting blurry from all the tears. Another note of thanks, I want to acknowledge the importance of support and encouragement from family and friends. The great successes I've had in school would not be possible if I hadn't had the support of my wife, who said, "Bebe, do it for yourself, because now you're just wasting your talents." My mother-in-law went back to school in her early 60s. I also benefited from having a job where my manager understood the importance of what I was doing and wanted me to fulfill my potential. So like my wife, he was in my corner. I've had the opportunity to give back to the program and speak with new students during enrollment and encourage them to persevere. I let them know we've all faced daunting challenges. However, we all know this about finishing a heavy workload and passing our classes. A good education is something that can never be taken away from you. I would like to end with a quote from Peter Jennings. Have a sense of humor about life, you will need it, and be courteous. Thank you all.
Sam Saifnurian was a Peter Jennings Laurel Award winner in 2007, sitting in the front row. He grew up in Tehran, Iran, and immigrated to the United States at the age of 20. Since earning his GED and becoming a Laurel Scholar, Sam has worked as an intern in the Mayor's Office of Adult Education, where he serves as a mentor to current winners and assists GED students in making the transition to Cuny. Sam has also worked for the past 2 years as an office assistant for the Cuny Adult Literacy GED program. After earning his associate's degree, after earning his associate's degree in media studies from LaGuardia Community College, Sam has been accepted to Hunter College, where he plans to major in film.
Education is a position that cannot be taken away from you. As a GED graduate, I have to say that I would never have been able to become a successful college student if I had not knocked on the door of the Adult Learning Center at LaGuardia Community College. Your story illustrates that, like me, you all found GED programs where committed and hardworking teachers, counselors, and administrators showed you the way and helped you make an investment in knowledge. This investment will pay us back with interest, both as individuals and as a society. Every day, I feel the impact of Cuny dedication to adult education. After earning my GED, I took part in college transition pilot class offered at Cuny Central Office. At open houses for college transition initiative, I tell my story and answer GED graduates' questions about how to prepare for the Cuny entrance test and succeed in college courses. I also have the privilege of working for the adult literacy program at the Cuny Central Office, among dedicated people who have helped change the lives of the adult learners. As a member of the GED Alumni Alliance at the Mayor's Office of Adult Education, I would also like to thank Mr. Anthony Tossi and Ms. Katie Taylor at the Mayor's Office for giving us, for the GED alumni, a voice in this city. As a film student at Hunter College and later as a filmmaker, I will continue to do what I can to support adult students in ESL, basic education, and GED classes across New York City. I would like to conclude by saying to today's winners, have faith in yourselves. Don't let self-doubt and self-limiting thought stand in your way. You have unlimited potential, and each one of you has a capacity to accomplish great things.
That concludes our program, ladies and gentlemen, guests. Once again, it has been a wonderful and great pleasure to have you here at this annual ceremony. Congratulations to all.